There are four areas that I actually work on and I tackle. The first one is economic development. The second, international trade. Third, entrepreneurship and retail. I kind of bundle those two together because retail is really about, physical products. We also have products and services. And then the fourth one, which we're starting to really push hard on this year, is leadership, success, and wealth building mindset. So let me dive deeply into it. So the work that I do when I left corporate was really, it started in the area of economic development. That was what all of this was about. But as I convened leaders in government, in business, it's more of the top down approach. It's like, Toyin, we have the country, we have the state, we have the city, we have people, youth, women. What would you advise us to be doing with all of that? So that's just really at the high level. When I host international summits, AFCFTA roundtable, investment conferences, it's really typically around economic development. The key stakeholders in that space come into the space, sharing what the best practices and all of that. And I'll share more in subsequent slides as well. But one thing that has become clear over the years for me is this understanding that while there is the top down approach, right? There's also, we have to think about the grassroots, bottom up approach, right? So it's, if all people do is just top down, right? You have leaders, bunch of leaders sitting around the room talking about, programs and initiatives and economic development, GDP, all of those things, which is fantastic, right? Top down initiatives is always great. But the gap that I've seen more of is the grassroots activities, bottom up, right? So this slide is showing the top down, but it's also reflecting on the bottom up. And the programs and initiatives and capacity building programs that I've developed is really targeting the bottom up as well. So when you think about international trade, the opportunities it unlocks for local regions, states, cities that participate. One thing I try to say is that international trade actually drives global wealth distribution. So regions of the world that tend to participate in international trade reap the reward, you know, massively. So my recommendation and the reason we've developed programs and training packages, export development, all of those things is because for any region of the world interested in economic development, international trade is an opportunity they should be unlocking for their private sector. Along that line, there's also conversations around commercialization, monetization, and my conclusion is really it's a skill gap, right? When we see regions like Silicon Valley and all of those things, there is a skill required to commercialize ventures, right? To take ideas and make it commercial, developing ventures and enterprises around it. And that's why I teach that as well, because you cannot really talk about economic development without talking about the ecosystem around entrepreneurship, right? The skills, product distribution, supply chain, logistics. Those are important things that I hope government leaders, at least I try to nudge them to invest in. Nothing happens overnight. And then this year, one area that I've really heavily started pushing for is this idea of leadership, success, wealth building mindset. Is that many people come into my space, my events, platforms, training programs with the wrong mindset. Oh, I want to help. No, no, no. Help yourself first. Anyway, so that's something I'm pushing heavily on. If you've seen the game plan, 12 strategies for winning, it's because there is a mindset around economic development. There is a winning mindset around pursuing international trade opportunities. I call international trade the Olympics of business. So after you've mastered growing your company in your local region, then opportunities exist in the international market, and there are principles, policies that govern it as well. So that's really the at a very very high level, like 20 feet, I don't know, and above level, executive level, of the four areas that you likely see me talking about one or two of those things, but everything is aligned. Everything that I do is aligned to these four portfolio areas, right? So I'm going to dive deeper into each of these spaces, right? For those watching the PowerPoint, so I'm going to go first to economic development. Over the years, as I've hosted the leading experts in economic advancement from World Bank, multilateral institutions, all of that. What I've now designed is this framework that governs all that I do, or most of the things we do, is that the conversations that we host, the investment portfolios that we try to guide people towards, is governed by this framework, right? Agriculture value chain, manufacturing, retail, distribution, infrastructure development, and then the foundational components of you're going to need to import, export talents, resources, commodities to support that economic engine, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about the slides. But again, I just want to keep today really, really high level so that people understand and they have a grasp of what I do, because I know people follow me for different things, but this is really taking people behind the scenes. Um, what we've also heard really from investors is this enabling policies and fiscal responsibilities and all the content and resources we've put together on our platforms to educate people, to sensitize people around opportunities, and be it AFCFTA, emerging policies and trade blocks and all of those things. We try to align it behind this framework. So in general, Nazaru does a number of things. Really, it's training, consulting, trade events, exporter support, media content, international trade network as well. We also have classes. Again, I'm staying at a very, very high level for today's portfolio review. If you've taken my classes, you see the behind the scenes. So anytime I'm hosting an event, anytime I'm pushing for a program, everything everything leads back to this high level 4 areas, right? And those programs are at my attempt to give people the depth of that is behind all of this portfolio, right? So we have trade and investment facilitation. This is just again at a very, very high level what we're talking about. And then when I talk about entrepreneurship and retail, I have programs, personalized programs. I also have group programs that is helping people accelerate their business growth and success. Really, is that to build an enterprise, to build a company, there are several things you have to do. I usually joke that it's like a pilot. You have to check, check, check. There are several things you have to look at. It's not just one. Particularly, one thing I also try to guide business owners and entrepreneurs on is knowledge building, right? If you went to school to acquire certain knowledge to be an accountant versus a lawyer versus an engineer, to become an entrepreneur, it requires you to have a breadth and depth of knowledge in several areas. So you have to approach it as a student. So that's why I teach entrepreneurship and retail as well. Retail is really, I serve as strategy for the world's largest retailer. So that's a big part of my competency as well in terms of supply chain logistics, product distribution, branding, marketing, sales, all of those things, right? So again, today I'm really talking fast because I'm keeping this really, really simple. There's a saying that it's difficult, it's very complex to make easy and very easy to make complex. I'm trying to make something extremely complex sound easy today. That's also one thing I try to do. So this other area, when you think about the game plan program, is aligned in terms of 12 strategies for winning, right? And I'm hosting this on Saturday. You can register at toyinmesri.com/the game plan. Is that all that people hope to do, all that we want to do is going to really fall back on personal development, leadership competencies, communication, networking, all of these fluffy things that most people don't consider as important. They are the most important because when I create platforms that we have ambassadors, government stakeholders, investors on those platforms, I want to make sure that my members and my community come into those spaces with an elevated mindset. Because the opportunities that we're driving towards requires that you be a leader, right? At the end of the day, that's what this is about as well. When it comes to classes, is staged in 3 areas. If you go to nazaro.tinkific.com, I never am able to say that well, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Those that are those that are my members, they already have access to these. Non-premium members can purchase individual courses around export development, trade and investment facilitation, and really fundamentals of business development. And for those who are members, okay, I have 2 membership. Everything makes sense. Like we have a calendar of events, the International Trade Network programs, events. You're always going to be seeing me talking about programs, right? You're always going to be seeing me. But everything there's a structure behind it that I follow. So if you hear me this month of January, you likely see me talk about the game plan, strategies for winning, 12 strategies for winning. That's all I'm talking about in January. once we move into the next month, you hear me talk about this, and for the International Trade Network. And then I also have an entrepreneurship membership as well. Why did I separate these two? When you come into the International Trade Network, I'm already assuming that you have a strong entrepreneurship mindset as well, and a strong leadership mindset. If not, then my encouragement is that you start with or sign up for both the Entrepreneurship and Leadership Academy, because we're going to be covering deeper dive into entrepreneurships, the basics of entrepreneurships like business model design, brand management, understanding your customer journey, like design thinking. I have a design thinking background. Coaching members around customer service, your processes, your structures. Really, this year is about strengthening the structures of your business. And then for those who want to go to the next level, international trade, we also have a very mature space for them, because there are government stakeholders, investors in that space. So I'm going to stop sharing briefly. I know I said a lot. My attempt is to keep it really, really simple. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. I hope you can see me now. Okay, I went really fast. I wanted to cover it in like 10 minutes or less, but I did like 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes plus. I was racing through it. I don't want to there's a lot of details. There's a whole lot of details behind everything I just went through. I admit it, right? But what I'm trying to show today is that there's a structure to everything that I do. Like, I don't do anything randomly. Even this is a structure. There's a strategy behind it, right? Is that oh my, I'm laughing because the breadth and depth of what I manage is massive. And but I think I have to do better at explaining to people there's a top-down approach, but there's also investment in bottom up. What I mean by that, at the highest levels, when I host international trade summits, you have government stakeholders, continental, like ambassador, commissioner for trade. We have US government. For those who have been following me, I've also been appointed. So I play some role even in the US when it comes to exporter support, on the as a member of the Exports District Council, Illinois Export District Council, which is really a council nationwide. But I'm here in Illinois, in Chicago, so I get to support that. So that's something new that's coming up as well for me. I've played intra-African trade ambassador role by appointment of African Export Import Bank in the past. So at a very top down, there is a huge top down. And to be honest, that's where all of this started, right? That's my full time. That's I'm going to be investing more time in that space. But this year, I'm prioritizing bottom up. So when you hear me say coach, call me Coach Toyin, is because I made a decision to say, while there's the top-down initiatives, government initiative, PPPs, economic development, like GDP, economists, I get it. I host those summits. I engage a lot, like World Bank chief, presidential advisors. Yes, I get it. Top down, right? I see those charts. We have those charts. If you're members of my community, you have access to all of the resources over the past 5 years, right? But that's not enough. That's not enough. Is that we have to invest bottom up. Youth, women, entrepreneurs, right? Equipping them with the skills, talent. It is it's knowledge based, it's networking, it's skill development, it's leadership, it's communication, it's all of those things. And Toyin decided to put her hands around. Yes. Like when I talk about my portfolio, it's like those four things. Yes, I care about those four things, right? And there's also a roadmap for me. That's private. I'm not making that public, but there's a roadmap of what I'm doing now versus next year versus right. So right now I'm prioritizing bottom up, empowering people at the grassroots with skills, entrepreneurship skills, leadership competency, right? Like success mindset. Why? Because for you to participate, you have like top down has to meet bottom up. For you to participate in the opportunities being unlocked by emerging policies, emerging opportunities, like you, for example, US exports, all of those things. I have front row seats to all of those things. I'm realizing that you cannot participate if you don't have the skills, right? Yeah, like the US government has 17 government agencies telling you, oh, we want to advance US exports to Africa. And I'm looking at the diaspora, I'm saying, this is an opportunity for you. They don't know. Like the diaspora, you can create your own company full time, doing what? Participating in the new unlocked opportunities if you want to lead. But if you don't have the skill, like yesterday, I was talking to one of the presidents of one of the major diaspora organizations, and I said, it's the same thing. There was an event hosted last week, with financial MDs of banks. I get it. And I told him, I said, oh, yeah, if all it takes is attending events, then by now, right, the clock should have, everybody should have been like, yes, game plan. But no, I host events as well, and it is a critical pillar of what we do. Oh, okay, I see people joining. Lisbeth from Portugal, thank you for joining. Hello, Ilagosa, thank you for joining. Where are you joining from? Odiese from Nigeria, thank you for joining. And Kabalaji says, I am so excited about this 2022 journey. Awesome. And thank you for being a member. That's one of our members right there. And thank you to others who joined. Yes, yes, yes. Good one. Thank you. So basically, it's about opportunity. So, like I shared before, I hope people watching saw the slides. I'm going to keep today really short. Economic development, international trade, entrepreneurship, and retail, right? And then leadership and success well building mindsets. Those are the four things I cover. So anytime you see me out here doing ABCD, just know that it's tied to one of those four things. And there's the top down, government, executive top down, sitting in boardrooms, sitting at my events. We're talking about economic development, GDP, growth projection, manufacturing, policy. I get it. But the only way you're going to be able, at the grassroots, is going to be able to participate in the opportunities being unlocked is this fact that you have to have the skill to participate. Commercialization skill, monetization skill. You'll be hearing me talk that out, right? So for me, it's what we decided to do, because when I started this journey, I was like, let's go get the opportunities. I was like, what's going on? Why are people slowing down? And I realized, it's like asking people to run. We now have to go back to the grassroots. So when you find me, one job that I've given myself now is, how do I make it make sense at the grassroots, right? Is breaking those things down. So you find me talking about, I teach entrepreneurship at business schools and in my private practice, is because at the end of the day, customers, products, services, distribution. That's what this comes. You do it in your local community, and then you can expand it to the rest of the world. The biggest companies in the world know this. They know this. They have internal teams, international trade teams, figuring this out, going through all the data, right? It's the small businesses out there that do not know these things. You don't have the capacity, and you don't have a team to help you engage in market penetration strategies. Sign up, enroll to my program. That's what we're breaking down. The biggest companies, there are certain things. When you see me also talk about, I'm a consultant, coach, and instructor, it's because I play different roles depending in what room you find me. If you find me on social media, you see me smiling. I'm like this and singing and dancing. Mm, mm, that's not, you're experiencing me in that dimension. If you come into my event like next month, you see me engaging with at a different level. I may not smile because those rooms, like, when you come to those rooms, I'm like, yes, sir. It's a different tone. But anyway, I'm trying to lighten this up. But anyway, I hope that portfolio review helped you understand, like, it's all about economic development, right? At the top of the house that we serve. I'm honored to continue to lead platforms in those spaces. But at the end of the day as well, it's about skill acquisition, right? Some governments do it better than the other in terms of empowering people and sponsoring and investing in helping their skill, their youth and women transition. So, for example, later this April, in partnership with the women's WBDC. It's a government funded stuff, right? Pardon me if I'm not describing, but it's a community that is funded by US grants to educate, women, minorities, and all of those. So I'll be teaching a class in April. So what I'm doing is that my entire calendar. So you know, at the personal level, I do one-on-one coaching. At the membership level, I do group coaching. There's also institutional partnerships where or schools bring me in. So if you're an institution, you need the skill, you want me to bring the skills, reach out, head over to toyinyumesivi.com. There are different programs you can reach out, you can contact me there as well. So for me, I have this calendar that I'm always managing, right? A lot of times people say, Toyin, can you come? I always have to evaluate everything that is presented because I don't have the luxury of saying yes to everything, but I promise to take a look at it. So that's my promises. I would explore, right? I'll explore, I'll support as best as possible, but we have a game plan. We have a game plan, and this Saturday I invite you to also join the game plan and to equip you with the same skill set for you to really be able to win in any area, because it's about empowering you, it's about expanding your capacity to take on more successfully. Really, that's at the end of the day, it's top down, I get it, right? But we have to meet bottom up, grassroots, and equipping people with the skills, entrepreneurship skills, leadership skills, international trade skills like export. If you're winning, so if you attended any of my classes, let me just break it down. I talk about local, regional, global markets, right? The moment you can be winning in your market, even here in the US, you can be winning in Nigeria, you can be winning in Ghana, you can be winning in Canada. It doesn't matter. The moment you want to venture into new markets, you have to understand the policies that allows you to do it. You have to study the new market. You have to conduct what we call market entry development. That's something I teach as well. In March, there's an international trade 101 class I'll be holding. Members already are subscribed. If you're a premium member, you're already in. You get the link, you get the alerts, you'll be subscribed. If you're not a member, you can sign up for just that class or the membership 12 months commitment as well, because it takes that long to absorb all of those things. So any class, any program that you see me promoting, so my full-time job now is promoting. So anytime you see me out here, just promote. I'm always going to be promoting something, right? Because you can see the calendar I just showcase is that we're always going to be doing something in our membership, right? So I'm always going to be out here telling you what we're doing. I'll be engaging, asking, answering questions, but the bulk of what we do really is going to be in the membership, right? And my motto for 2022, if you're watching this in 2022, I hope I push it forward to other years, is I will invest in people who invest, because at the end of the day, this is about your own journey. I always joke that it's like, I want to lose weight. Yeah, I can support you, but if you don't want it bad for yourself, that thing ain't happening. You have to want to go on this journey for yourself. And someone like myself, what I do is to coach you. You can consult with me. I serve as attend my classes, attend my events, and those events are divided between international trade, economic development, right? Entrepreneurship, retail, and leadership, right? And anytime we're talking about economic development, most of those times you'll find we're working with government stakeholders, right? Yeah, because they're the ones doing the top down. And we get to support them trade and investment promotion. They always come and say, Tori, we have land, we have people, we have youth. What should we design to accelerate economic development? Really, that's I'm just trying to summarize the types of conversation we have. It's like we have land, we have the youth, our governor is willing and interested to do ABCD. Our president, vice president want to develop ABCD. How should we move forward? And I say, skills, hmm, international trade, right? I keep it that way. I keep it simple. You want it? It takes time. It takes work. It takes investment, long term, and then partnerships. Anyway, take care now. That's it. No questions. I actually am going to not really answer questions today. I just wanted to put that portfolio review out there and then see you this week. My current plan is to end my daily lives this week, end of the month. Saturday, I'll be hosting the game plan and 12 strategies for winning. It's a 3 hour, 3 hour program. You will not remain, if you attend, you're coming out of that class a different person for sure. Like guaranteed. Because the things I'll be downloading and teaching, world class, world class, period. Like, period. If I can say so, I will say so. I'm saying so. Like, if you've watched me move, right? What how allows me to move is what I'm empowering people with, because we all need to be moving. Like, we all need to be marching. We need a small army of highly sophisticated leaders to lead this thing, to lead the world, right? So I'm doing my thing. I'm doing mine, and this is about you, because for me as well, um, the way I've planned things out is that I'm committing to showing up in this format now, but I had to I had to prioritize some things down for me to prioritize this up, right? So this ain't going to be like I have a game plan that, the economic development is really where all of this started. I just had to say we need to also build vehicles bottom up, where people at the grassroots can rise to the top and build enterprises that can compete internationally. So that's what I'm working on now, right? While I've built platform that does top down, right now I'm working on bottom up, equipping people. And then eventually, if I mean, I know it takes some time for people to wake up to some of the things I say. I get it. Take your time, take your time. But eventually, where this is going is, you will not have access to me, you have access to the content eventually, right? And then at twice the price. So the prices now are really heavily subsidized, because it's a new industry, it's a new conversation. People are not used to this kind of setup. I get it. But I'm also you. When that happens, don't come back to Toyo and say Toyo didn't say it. I'm saying the price is going to more than double, okay? And you will not have access to Toyo. You will just be accessing the content, because we are building the content now. So, for example, this Saturday, if you missed it, that's okay. Take your time. The content, the recording will be there. Toy will not be there. Toy will not be there to answer any questions that emerge. Now, you can sign up if you have the budget for a one-on-one with Toy, which is executive pricing. Okay. I'm putting all this my business out here so that nobody will come. I don't want those DMs that I'll have to say, okay, Toy, how do you respond now? Right. So that's why I'm trying to help people understand how these things is set up. There's a structure. If you want to go to Harvard, you have to follow Harvard application process. If you want to work with Toy, please follow my process. That's the only way. That's the only way to build sanity into all of these complexities. Like, I don't have 1,000 process. I have a process. And I expect everybody that we want to work with to follow that process. Like, even yesterday, someone was like, Toy, I want to introduce somebody to you. I'm like, send the person my website. Because I cannot 30 minutes 30 minutes on the phone with this person. No, 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 no. Follow the process. My time is priceless to me, not to you, but to me. So anyway, so in the future, if you miss Saturday, it's going to be taken, it will become an e-course. You can access the e-course. Some people prefer it actually to just access these resources on their own, and I get it. So that's fine. That's why I usually do no pressure from here, right? But the pressure for me is knowing the calendar that I have. I'll say I'm hosting something, I host and I move on to the next. I'm not coming back to that thing. So anybody that wants it, will record it. You can access it when you are ready, because I've moved on in a way. So people who know me, that's like I've moved on. February, you hear me talk about something else. March is something else, right? But those resources and programs will make it accessible. Any new member will be able to access anything they've missed. So I know sometimes it takes people months and months to realize, oh, I remember Tony told us ABC back then. I should go and check on when you're ready at that time. You can you Toy will not be you can't access Toy, but you can access the content. So that's it. Thank you again. God bless you all, and see you next time. It's a wrap. That's it for today. I really want to thank you for those who have been a part of this journey for years. Everything that I just shared in that 10 minutes or 11 minutes, it's a lot. It's the eye level of everything. And when I'm hosting events or any program or any masterclass or workshop, it's to teach people what's behind that detail, right? So every portfolio, everything that I shared, there's depth behind it. And what I'm prioritizing this year is to teach other people, because we want other people to unlock and understand what those opportunities are, and to equip them, empower and equip them to move in that direction, right? That's really what this is about. And it's taking years, but my job is to make something complex look easy. I hope that looked easy, but don't think it is easy. It's not. Nothing happens overnight. It takes years and of dedication, of acquiring the skills. Think about how many years you spent acquiring the skills you already have right now as you're moving into new spaces to pursue new opportunities. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. That's why my membership is like 12-month long, is that every single month we're going to equip, and I'm going to hold you accountable to implement those things. And these are life skills. There's no way you're anywhere you're going forever. You're set. Literally, you're set for life. Because winning mindset, world building mindset, leadership mindset, entrepreneurship mindset, like you're set. Because there's no stopping you from there. Anyway, thank you again. I really do appreciate it. Bye.